It was late afternoon when I noticed Karen storming up the driveway again. But this time, it wasn't just a property dispute. She had her eyes set on my daughter, a vulnerable 7-year-old with special needs. She was furious that my daughter's feeding schedule didn't align with some imaginary community standard. The audacity was staggering. Karen barged into my kitchen, waving a clipboard and shouting orders. "She needs to eat the food I approve. You can't let her have her own diet schedule," she demanded, her voice sharp and relentless. I froze for just a moment, enough to size up the situation. Then I remembered who I was. Not just a parent, not just a homeowner. I'm a federal judge. Karen had no idea that the quiet man she had been harassing for months had the authority, influence, and legal power to make her worst nightmares come true. "Karen," I said, calm but firm, "you have absolutely no right to interfere with my child's care. Step back, or you will be held accountable for trespassing and harassment." Her face contorted with rage. "I'm protecting the community. You're abusing your position if you—" I held up a hand. "You're interfering with the care of a disabled child. That's not protection. That's criminal." She didn't believe me. She thought threats, yelling, and intimidation would work. But she hadn't counted on my background. I calmly activated the home security system, capturing every second of her tantrum, her illegal entry, and her attempt to meddle. Every frame was time-stamped, saved, and ready to be submitted as evidence. Then came the most important part, my daughter's well-being. I scooped her up, checked her feeding tube, and reassured her. Karen's threats had no weight here. She could scream and shout, but my daughter's care was untouchable, protected by law, and by a parent who would go to any lengths to enforce it. Karen tried to escalate, calling the HOA and claiming I was overreacting. I calmly reminded her, "You've entered private property, harassed a disabled child, and interfered with medical care. Every step you took has been recorded. Any further action on your part will be met with immediate legal consequences." She sputtered, her face turning red with fury and embarrassment. The neighborhood began to notice the commotion. Curious neighbors peeked through windows, seeing Karen's public meltdown, her futile threats, and her inability to assert any authority. Her credibility evaporated instantly. By the end of the day, Karen had retreated, muttering complaints that no one could take seriously. The HOA was now painfully aware that attempting to interfere with my household, and especially my disabled child, was not just foolish but potentially criminal. I installed additional security measures: cameras, motion sensors, and alert systems, ensuring that Karen, or anyone else, would never again have access to my daughter's care or my home. She tried a few half-hearted attempts afterward, but each one was met with legal warnings and undeniable proof of trespass. The story spread like wildfire. Neighbors shared videos of Karen's tantrum, and her reputation was utterly destroyed. She had attempted to assert control over a child's care, only to be completely humiliated and legally restrained. From that day forward, my daughter was safe, my property was secure, and Karen never dared approach again. Every time I looked at her peaceful smile, I felt a deep satisfaction, not just for the legal victory, but for defending what truly mattered: family, care, and boundaries that no entitled neighbor could violate. The lesson was clear: never interfere with someone who has the authority, knowledge, and will to protect what's theirs. Karen learned it the hard way, and the neighborhood learned it just by watching.